The sun dipped low over the golden dunes, painting the desert in fiery hues of orange and red. In the distant oasis of Al-Khayal, life hummed under the shade of date palms and the soft murmur of flowing water. The bustling market square was alive with the clatter of merchants hawking spices, silks, and glittering trinkets. Among the crowd, a boy named Omar darted nimbly, his keen eyes scanning for opportunity. Omar, barely 16, was a street urchin with dreams as vast as the desert. Life had not been kind to him since his parents vanished on a fateful caravan journey years ago. He survived through wit, charm, and occasionally pilfering from the unwary. On this particular day, however, Omar's fortune was about to change. A commotion drew his attention to a merchant's stall. A wizened old man with a turban of deep indigo stood behind the counter, gesturing animatedly. In his hands he held a small, translucent gemstone that shimmered with an inner light. "Behold, the desert jewel," the merchant declared. "This stone is no ordinary treasure. It is said to grant the heart's deepest desire." The crowd murmured in awe, though skepticism lingered on many faces. Omar, too, was intrigued. A gemstone capable of granting wishes? It sounded absurd, yet the stone's glow was mesmerizing. His heart thudded as an idea began to form. If he could get his hands on that jewel, he might finally escape the harsh streets of Al-Khayal. As the crowd dispersed, Omar lingered in the shadows, watching the merchant close up his stall. The old man locked the jewel in a small iron chest and carried it into a curtained tent behind the stall. Omar's sharp eyes followed every movement, noting the heavy padlock and the single guard stationed at the entrance. That night, under the cover of darkness, Omar crept back to the marketplace. The desert wind was cool, and the stars above seemed to whisper encouragement. Armed with a stolen knife and a sack, he slinked toward the tent. The guard was snoring, his head tilted back against the tent post. Slipping inside, Omar's heart raced. The chest sat in the center of the tent, its surface engraved with intricate patterns. He worked quickly, prying at the padlock with his knife until it popped open. The chest creaked as he lifted the lid, and there it was. The desert jewel, glowing faintly in the moonlight. As Omar reached for the stone, a sudden gust of wind whipped through the tent. The jewel flared brightly, and a deep voice rumbled. "Who dares disturb my slumber?" Omar froze, his hand hovering over the jewel. From the shadows a figure emerged, a djinn, towering and ethereal, with skin like burnished bronze and eyes like molten gold. "I'm Omar," the boy stammered, his bravado failing him. "I seek only to change my fate." The djinn regarded him for a moment, then let out a booming laugh. "Bold, are you not? Very well, thief. The jewel is yours, if you can answer my riddle." Omar swallowed hard, his mind racing. "What is the riddle?" The djinn's eyes gleamed as he spoke. "I am the key to countless doors, yet I am weightless, unseen. I can grant riches or ruin. What am I, boy?" Umar furrowed his brow. The words echoed in his mind, each phrase unraveling like a thread in a tapestry. "Weightless, unseen," he muttered. "A key, granting riches or ruin." And then it struck him. "Knowledge," Omar said, his voice steady. "The answer is knowledge." The djinn's laughter echoed through the tent like thunder. "Well done, boy. You have earned the desert jewel. But beware, its power is both a gift and a curse." With a flick of his wrist, the djinn vanished, leaving behind a trail of golden sparks. The jewel, now cool and heavy in Omar's hand, seemed to pulse with a life of its own. Over the following days, Omar's life transformed. With the jewel's help, he amassed wealth beyond his wildest dreams. Merchants and nobles alike flocked to him, eager to do business with the mysterious young trader who always seemed to know the right investments to make. But as his riches grew, so did his enemies. Whispers of the desert jewels spread across the land, reaching the ears of ruthless warlords and greedy viziers. One fateful night, Omar's mansion was stormed by raiders led by a fearsome chieftain named Malik al-Safar. Omar fought bravely, but was no match for Malik's forces. The jewel was ripped from his grasp, and he was thrown into the dungeons of Malik's desert fortress. Days turned into weeks. In the damp, dark cell, Omar reflected on his journey. The jewel had brought him wealth, but it had also made him a target. He realized now that the Djinn's warning was true. The power of the jewel was as much a burden as it was a blessing. One night, as the moonlight filtered through the small window of his cell, Omar heard a soft voice. "Psst, Omar!" He turned to see a slender figure crouched outside the barred window. It was Layla, a fellow street urchin from Al-Khayal, who had been one of his few friends. She held a set of lockpicks in her hands and grinned. "I've been tracking you for weeks," she whispered. "Hold still." With Layla's help, Omar escaped the fortress. Together, they hatched a daring plan to retrieve the desert jewel and ensure that it would never fall into the wrong hands again. Under the cover of a sandstorm, Omar and Layla infiltrated Malik's fortress. The jewel was kept in a heavily guarded chamber, but Layla's nimble fingers and Omar's quick thinking allowed them to outwit the guards and bypass the traps. As they reached the chamber, Omar hesitated. The jewel sat on a pedestal, glowing faintly, but its light seemed more menacing than before. "We can't keep it," Omar said, his voice firm. "The jewel is too dangerous. It must be destroyed." Layla nodded, though her eyes lingered on the jewel. But how? Omar remembered the Djinn's words. Its power is both a gift and a curse. Perhaps the Djinn could help. Taking a deep breath, Omar picked up the jewel. The air shimmered, and the Djinn appeared once more, his golden eyes gleaming. "You again," the Djinn said, his voice amused. "What do you seek now?" "We seek to destroy the jewel," Omar said. "Its power is too great." The Djinn's expression grew serious. "A wise choice, boy, but be warned. Destroying the jewel will come at a price. Name it," Omar said without hesitation. "You must give up all the riches and power it brought you. You will return to the life you knew before." Omar glanced at Layla, who nodded in silent agreement. Together, they made their choice. The Djinn raised his hands, and a brilliant light engulfed the chamber. When it faded, the jewel was gone, and so were all traces of the wealth it had bestowed upon Omar. A star creating fame, not gained enough to sever from its own rough. Back in the streets of Al-Khayal, Omar and Layla started anew. Though they had little, they carried with them a newfound wisdom. The desert jewel had taught them that true wealth lay not in treasures, but in the bonds they shared and the freedom to forge their own destinies. And so, under the endless desert sky, Omar and Layla embarked on a new adventure, one filled with hope, courage, and the promise of a brighter future.